an amazing book he's written, From Terror to Freedom, a warning about America's affair with Islam. And Mr. Bakh, I'm just amazed by all that you've come through. I mean, you've gone from one extreme to another, so you have so many important things to share. I mean, why do we need to understand this more as Americans? How will this help us?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have been having a very interesting life. I was born in Iran. I'm 77 years old, 76. And I was born in Iran and grew up in Iran. And after high school, I went to Italy, and I learned about the Italian Navy, and I became an officer, naval officer for the Iranian Navy. So during the Shah, when Iran was really progressing fast, I was involved, and I got through the ranks, and I got my education further in the United States, and I went through United States Naval Postgraduate School, and I got a few engineering degrees. With that background, I was involved in the involvement of Iran, especially in the Navy, to go up and to become the sole power in the Persian Gulf. So I have witnessed the friendship of Iran with the United States. So we were exchanging all the information, all the secrets and so forth. And we were spending every dollar that we were getting from the oil in the United States. And all of a sudden, from nowhere, Ayatollah Khomeini came, and that country, who once was the best ally of the United States, became the worst enemy of the United States. So I had a miraculous escape because I was captured, and I was going to go through a trial because they thought I am the spy of the United States, because I was building the largest training center for the Iranian Navy. And miraculously, with my family, I could escape and come to America. And of course, I lost everything, every belonging that I had. Then I started to think, what happened? Why in the world, all of a sudden, a country like Iran, who was, believe me, we had freedom. We had freedom of choice. All women were free. We had the freedom of religion. We were the best ally to the Israel. As a matter of fact, a street in the middle of Tehran was named after Israel. And why? Why? What happened? That is why I started to put my thought together and wrote Escaping Islam. And my story of life, if somebody reads that, understands what's happening.
We're talking to Mano. You pronounce your last name Bakh?
Bakh.
Bakh, B-A-K-H. His book is called From Terror to Freedom, a warning about America's affair with Islam. And Mano writes, he's 77 years old, he said, and he grew up in Iran. He served in the Navy. He remembers the day when the U.S. and Iran were close allies under the Shah. Shah was ousted. Ayatollah Khomeini came into power. We remember this as Americans because that's when our hostages were taken at the embassy there. And
444 days.
Yes, that's right. And they were released when Reagan was sworn into office. Remember that day that happened. But everything changed in Iran because that's really interesting, Mano, how and we're talking in the late 70s here, 79, 80, right in there, how a country that was progressing in a more pro-Western style could revert so dramatically.
Let me
how did that happen? Go ahead.
Well, let me give you one of the factors. There are several fundamental issues that caused that revolution. Let me give you one factor that we understand it very well. In 1975, the price of the oil was less than $7 per barrel. 7. And Iran was producing almost 6 million barrels a day. Iran was part of the OPEC, and the Shah's regime, they were going to increase the price of the oil to make it to $10 and keep it for 30 years constant. $10. The British, United States, and all the oil consortiums, they were against that. And Shah was begging to increase the price and to match the price of the oil to steel, because that was the fundamental element that the Iranians, they needed to make construction. Said the steel is going up 50 to 100% price every year, but the oil doesn't change. That was one of the big reasons that the Shah was the enemy of the Western world in order to maintain the price of the oil at a level higher than what it was. That was one of the biggest reasons. He had canceled the contracts with the British Oil Petroleum and had made that they continued the national Iranian oil and was influencing OPEC. That is one element. The second element, Iran was spending almost 60% of the revenue on the militarization. And the countries in the Gulf, they were scared from Iran because Iran was becoming the most powerful in the region. And that is one of the another elements that Iran had to be changed.
We're talking to Mano Bakh, B-A-K-H. His book is called From Terror to Freedom, A Warning About America's Affair with Islam. What's your subtitle really mean, A Warning About America's Affair with Islam? What's the warning?
The warning is that, look, in the last 12, 13 years, how many lives we have lost over in Iraq, Afghanistan, Kuwait. And when you ask yourself, what did we achieve? Are they really fighting for democracy, or it is the Islam that actually is fighting over there? Look at Egypt, a very good example. Look at all the Muslim countries that 2 years ago, every newspaper, every media was talking that this is the voice of the freedom, this is the voice of the democracy. What happened? So it is the domination of Islam. And what happens, United States really is not confronting the main issue. It's not saying that the main issue is Islamic fundamental that is causing the problem. And we are giving them aids. We are supporting them in many ways. That is why, for example, in the case of Iran, in the last 30 years, we have been creating sanctions, economical sanctions. Actually, the sanction helped Iran.
You're talking about sanctions. That's what you said, sanctions.
That's correct.
On Iran or Iraq?
Iran.
IRAN, just to be clear.
Iran, Persia, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. You're talking about the sanctions that the United Nations, I guess it is, have put
actually United States.
Okay.
Proposed to United Nations, and they sanctioned Iran for the last 30 years.
Okay.
Now let me tell you, that sanction made Iran stronger, because what they do now, they barter the oil. Yesterday I read that China is going to support Iran nuclear project for $20 billion. And is not going to get a penny from Iran. It's only getting oil from Iran. $20 billion. The same thing goes with Korea. The same thing goes with the other countries. So actually the sanction did not hurt Iran. It helped Iran. It helped the scientists. Of course, the people are going to pay more for the merchandise. And by the way, I'm in contact with Iran. Every single product from the United States, you can find them in Tehran. Everything.
Yeah, but what do we? You know what is the problem is? You know, what do we do? You know, because I'm talking about in our relationship to Iran.
With the leaders
I've been
still there in
I've been
place.
saying for 2 or 3 years or more. I don't think there's. You know, Mano may disagree with me, but I don't think there's anything that the United States can do to stop Iran from building nuclear weapons, short of going to war. Short of going to war, and we're not going to do that. Go ahead.
I disagree with that one. Let's tell you.
You say you disagree with that?
Let me tell you, if you have fire, I can explain to you.
Okay.
Iran's oil, crude oil, is being shipped throughout the world. 60% of the oil is going through the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz is only 20 miles long, the width of the Strait of Hormuz. So 60% of the oil produced from Iran goes through the Strait of Hormuz.
Okay.
We could very easily go to the Indian Ocean and say, whoever gets the Iranian oil and exports that from Iran, we are going to shoot and we are going to sink the ship no matter what country it belongs, because we have had sanction. So the sanction we have it, but we don't have the implementation of the sanction.
Yeah,
So,
it's very complicated. You're talking about starting.
It is complicated.
Yeah, you're talking about starting.
It is complicated.
Yeah.
But could be done.
Yeah.
Could be done. Let me tell you, I witnessed that in 1979, one of the reasons that the Shah's regime fell, because the people that they were working in the Iranian refinery, they went on a strike for 3 days. 3 days of strike in the refinery collapsed the government of Iran. Iran is the fourth largest producer of the crude oil, but do you know is the second largest importer of the fuel. Second largest. They import fuel from many other countries. The capacity of the refineries in Iran is maxed out, and they are old, and they cannot produce the amount of the fuel that the country needs.
Yeah.
So blockage of the Strait of Hormuz, I know it's going to be semi-war, but you are not actually going into the war with Iran. You are going to go to the war with any country in the world that is going to go against the sanction.
Right. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I don't think that's going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. You're saying if we were serious, that's what you're saying. Let me reintroduce. If we were serious, our guest is Mano Bakh, B-A-K-H. His book is called From Terror to Freedom: A Warning About America's Affair with Islam. Again, Mano grew up in Iran. He's 77 years old. He served in their Navy. There, he he converted. You converted. You're a Christian today, right?
I believe that the goodness of the Christianity. Yes.
Okay, but you're not a Christian yourself.
Not yet.
Okay, but